This is Brother Ron, and welcome to We All Be News Radio and TV, the news-free Dixie for the 21st century.
Hermes Ashkodom. 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 See how it works? Said his name 7 times. Remember that name, y'all. New religion on the rise. This is Brother Ron, your #1 thought provocateur. And this is We All Be News and Infotainment. 21st century news-free Dixie, or news-free Dixie for the 21st century. I had to share this with you all. Man, this Nipsey Hussle, aka Hermes Ashkodom, Hermes Joseph Ashkodom, has really been hitting me hard. I'm really feeling this brother's vibe. It's crazy because I'm not a big fan of his music. I was aware of Nipsey when he was walking the earth, and now I'm even more aware of him since he has left his vessel. He's a spirit. He's free energy floating around, making contact with the people. He definitely was a people's champ. I'm definitely feeling him, man. It's weird, man. It's like how I felt when I lost Pac, but I was into Pac music, man. I was a fan of Tupac. That's my childhood. Tupac is part of my childhood soundtrack growing up, becoming of age. But what Nipsey is interesting is that I feel like humanity has lost somebody. Really lost somebody, even if you were not into hip hop or into rap music. And it's like he was a genuine guy. He was a real guy, a genuine guy that cared for people, that loved his people, that was fierce, was a warrior, had a warrior spirit, and just had a knowing. I believe he knew that his time was not long for this world. And that's very fascinating because the way he moved, he decided he didn't waste too much of anything. But I want to talk about Nipsey as being a biblical figure. To me, he proves that Black people are the chosen people and that we are the people of the Bible. Because the way he moved, he got roots in East Africa, Eritrean roots. Eritrea, that's next to Ethiopia. They said that the world's oldest Bible can be traced back to Ethiopia. Some people believe that the Ark of the Covenant is in Ethiopia. And think about it, I know people corrected me in my last video. That's why I'm glad that people out there, I want to thank everybody who's been supporting through listening, sharing the information I present, doing their own research to add to the dialogue, and who have been sending in timely donations, man. I want to thank everybody who has, took the time to send in donations and to help sustain this movement, because, God works in mysterious ways. Sometimes I don't know how things will get done, like how I keep my lights on and how I put gas in my car, but somebody will make a timely donation or donation through Patreon, PayPal, Google Pay, Cash App, whatever. I want to thank you all for that. You know who you are. And I just want to thank y'all because that means a lot in terms of just knowing that people have benefited from the work I've been putting in. But also, it helps me to be inspired even more to be committed. I'm not living high off the hog here. I'm late on my rent and stuff, but that's another story. But I want to inspire you all because I'm looking at this gift of the internet to be able to spread information so fast, but there's a lot of disinformation and misinformation out there. Disinformation to me is more like it's intended, like there's an intent behind that. There's an intent to mislead the people, to confuse the people. Misinformation could be just a actual mistake out of ignorance, out of not doing the proper research. But also, Baba Dick, tell me, Brother Ron, you have magic glasses. You are a possessor of magic glasses. You cannot force the people to see what you see. And I've seen a lot of my ideas I've been putting out there have been taking foot or a hold of the people's imagination. But what I really think was happening is that Hermes Joseph Ashkadom was a black Messiah. He was the real Jesus that came back. He was a real ancestor, an ancestor, came back from the cosmos to give his people a message. Hermes, his name means sent by God. Jesus was sent by God. Jesus lived to be just 33. Hermes Joseph Ashkadom, aka Nipsey Hussle, lived to be just 33. There's a missing period in Jesus' life from the ages of 12 to 29. Some people believe he went to the Far East, whether India or somewhere, or he went to Egypt at one point. I mean, did not our brother Nipsey Hussle go back to his Eritrean roots, go to Eritrea for 3 months back in 2004? He had a purpose. It's like how Malcolm went to Mecca and he rediscovered a purpose or a commitment. But I believe that the brother knew who he was before he even became the world known as Nipsey Hussle. If you listen to his beautiful mom, and you look at his mom, she is a beautiful sister. I saw that 8-minute video that was done to encourage this lady's students, but she is magic. Even his grandmother, the power of the women in his life, even his soulmate, Lauren London, the ability to be able to deal with strong, positive, love-filled women. You know, Baba Dick Gregory used to always say that two of the mightiest forces in American history is the black woman and the black church. Black women are powerful. And this brother had the confidence to deal with these sisters because look who his mom is. Look who his grandma is. People don't even understand. I saw that local LA News interview with the grandma. She's 88 years young. She moved with such wisdom, such divine love and concern. A woman of faith, a true woman of faith. And she basically told the people out there, do not kill the guy who is accused of killing her beloved grandson. She basically said, hands off that brother. Let that brother come to God and make his peace. And she's already at peace. She didn't say, you know, she's forgiving him out of fear or pressure. She forgive him because she know that her grandson was sent here for a purpose and mission has been accomplished. His sacrifice, like Jesus was, he had to die for our sins. He died for our collective sins. And by him dying, it unified us. That's what Nipsey did. He unified the street tribes, the tribes of Israel, the street tribes, right? They in unity. They just did a truce at his crucifixion site. The Bloods and the Crips came together the other day at his crucifixion site to do a truce. This man, once known as Nipsey Hussle, has been resurrected into a deity, into a saint. I think he could be really canonized. I think they should make a church or religion around Brother Nipsey. And I think it's already happening because like I talked about how he reminded me of Haile Selassie and Bob Marley. Now there's a meme going around saying that he's related to Haile Selassie. I don't know, they say he was related to Snoop, but they're saying he's not related to Snoop, but Snoop is related to so many people like Brandy and Ray J are his first cousins and Nate Dogg and not Corrupt, but Dash Dillinger. It won't surprise me that they were related because the way they moved, their mannerisms, similarity in looks. I mean, Nipsey kind of looked like a cross between Prodigy from Mobb Deep, who died under questionable circumstances, and Snoop. But also his energy, his charisma, his presence, from what I get, it reminded me of Haile Selassie and Bob Marley. And let me talk about that. And I'll make some other points because I don't see a lot of people making these points. I like what Daylight was doing. Daylight is interesting, man. I love his commentary. I'm not familiar with his music, but I just love his social media commentary, especially in regards to his compatriot, his peer, one of his rivals and friends in the rap game, that is Nipsey Hussle. But I wanted to expand upon that, or expound, or whatever you call that word, as it relates to that. And also on Saturday, I said this, why he reminded me of Bob Marley and Haile Selassie. And what's interesting was I saw an interview he did with Snoop Dogg. I think it was around maybe 2013. when Snoop asked him what musician he loved to see perform live, and he said Bob Marley. I said, wow. I already made that commentary I did, then to hear him say that the musician he wanted to see perform would be Bob Marley, it really was confirmation for me, because I would advise people. Now, people talk about the remastered Sam Cooke documentary. That was actually a pretty good, more in-depth documentary that came out several years ago concerning Sam Cooke. That was actually produced by the record label, his former business partner, who basically stole his music, it sound like, produced this documentary about Sam Cooke. They interviewed people like, that worked with him, including people like Aretha Franklin, I think Lloyd Price, and some other folks. And it goes really in depth. But the remastered series I love about Netflix is that, it basically condenses things down, and the way they present the information is entertaining, and enlightening, and it inspires people to go do their own research. Look at the remastered Sam Cooke. Another thing, Sam Cooke and Nipsey Hussle are tied. They're connected. Think about this, y'all. Both Nipsey Hussle and Sam Cooke died at the age of 33 in South Central LA. They call it South LA now, under questionable circumstances. Sam Cooke was killed at the Hotel Hacienda up in Watts. And then you have this brother Nipsey Hussle killed in front of his clothing store on Slauson, right? Both of these things happen in South Los Angeles, or I call it South Central LA, under questionable circumstances. And I tell people this too. It's some movies I would recommend people looking at to understand the mentality of LA politics and gangsterism, and the social, economic, and political conditions that create an environment that produces things like the Watts Rebellion of 1965, like the Rodney King riots of 1992. Check out the movie L.A. Confidential. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. It stars Kevin Spacey. It's an all-star cast. Russell Crowe, Kim Basinger. It talks about L.A. back in the late 40s, early 50s. The scene, police was in collusion with organized crime, the corruption and cover-up in Hollywood. And it really lays everything to bear about what you need to understand about the ruthless nature of the LA power structure as it relates to communities of color, of black people communities out there. And also watch Stacks. I'm from Memphis. Stacks is like the Motown of the South, or you could say that Motown was the Stacks of the North. But they did a concert to honor the 7th anniversary, to commemorate the 7th anniversary of the Watts riots up in Los Angeles Coliseum, I believe, right? It was over 100,000 people, mostly black people, that attended this concert. Featured some of the top soul artists of the day with Stax connections. You even had the brother Ted Lange, the brother from Love Boat, and also classic timeless commentary from the one and only, the GOAT of comedians, Richard Pryor. And you had Isaac Hayes. This actually happened on Isaac Hayes' birthday, Black Moses's birthday. So check out Watch Stacks. I love doing the commentary, mixing in with the everyday people as well as with the celebrities. You get an understanding of the black experience, especially as it relates to the good people of Watts, and LA Confidential. So, and also check out Bastards of the Party. Clay Bone Sloan, the guy who got ran over by Suge Knight. That's his passion project that he did to understand the genesis of the LA street gangs, in particular the Crips and Bloods. So he goes deep into it, like he talks about the Black Panther Party. Prentice Bunchy Carter was once the leader of the Sloshans, who was known as the mayor of the ghetto, very charismatic, was a UCLA student, got killed on campus in a situation with the US organization led by Ron Karenga, the founder of Kwanzaa, back in January 17th, 1969. And then a year or so later, after the killing of Bunchy Carter, you get the Crips. I think the Slossons could be considered the forerunners to the Crips. But the Bastards of the Party talked about how basically the leadership is killed off. And this is why you got the street gangs, because the leadership is killed out through COINTELPRO and the government. And so I said, well, around the world. But think about this. COINTELPRO, one of the main tenets of COINTELPRO was to stop the rise of the Black Messiah who could unify and electrify the masses. No, J. Edgar Hoover started that, and the FBI was built on neutralizing Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the first black FBI agent, codenamed Agent 800. Google him up, was hired to get close to Marcus Garvey and to neutralize him. That could be killing or framing, and they ended up framing him for mail fraud and sent him to federal prison. Then they deported him to Jamaica. That's what our government does. You look all this up. So, with that said, yeah, let's talk about how I saw him as being a connection or a mix between the remastered series. Also, I know I go around. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm jumping all over the place. But also check out the Bob Marley remastered series. That's very powerful because it reminds me of the situation that happened to Nipsey Hussle as well, whereas you got a charismatic figure who was attacked in his home before a big Jamaica concert. And they're trying to use him as a political pawn, Marcus Garvey, for the different parties who's trying to gain control of the prime minister office. And Bob Marley didn't want to be nobody's pawn. He was trying to unify the people of Jamaica. He loved his people. He was trying to bring unity among the community. It's about his religion. He's a Rastafarian. Believe that Haile Selassie was, Jesus incarnate, came back. And they tried to kill Bob Marley in his own home. It's like they killed they did kill, Nipsey in front of his business, the home base of his business. They killed him in front of his store called a Marathon, of all things, which is very fascinating. He would pick that name Marathon because I think he really knew that, you're going to have to endure. In the struggle, there's going to be some losses, but we got to keep enduring some type of way. So he knew that better than anybody. That's why I say he knew that his time was not long for this world. I really believe he knew that because the way he moved. But check out that, because Bob Marley was only 36 years old when he died from that cancer they gave him. I really believe they gave him the cancer, because think about this. Just days after that attack in his home, he was visited by a guy who is a documentary filmmaker, who also happens to be the son of the then CIA director, William Colby. So people say, well, no, there's no coincidence, Ron. It's just a coincidence. He had a job. He was known going around the world interviewing these people for documentaries, information, and also probably doing some other things as well. Y'all don't understand. Look up Operation Mockingbird, where the FBI would actually they coined the term conspiracy theorists to discredit people that were questioning the official report of what happened to Kennedy, JFK. Anybody who questioned the Warren Commission report on what happened to JFK was labeled a conspiracy theorist by the government to discredit them and to get people to stop and prevent people from thinking and questioning the official narrative. So it was Mark Lane, a lawyer who worked with Dick Gregory to unveil what happened in the King assassination. He wrote a book that countered the Kennedy Warren Commission report called Rush to Judgment. And Mark Lane died not too long before Dick Gregory. I think he died the year before Dick Gregory. But they were collaborators in bringing out the truth. Dick Gregory was the one who helped premiere the Zapruder film, the infamous Zapruder film that was tampered with, but he premiered it on Geraldo's Good Night America show. So Dick Gregory, y'all don't understand. We don't understand our elders and our people and our history, man, how they move. But this is what I said on Saturday as relates to Haile Selassie and Bob Marley on April the 6th. And now people saying, well, Nipsey Hussle is related to Haile Selassie. But I didn't say he was related. I don't know. But this is what my observations have been. I said, when I look at Nipsey Hussle, this is what I see. He was a mixture of Haile Selassie and Bob Marley, man. All three men had amplified messianic charisma and energy on fleek, as they say. All three men were about the preservation, protection, prosperity, and unification of their people. And all three men were systemically targeted by the systemic powers that be for those reasons and more. See how it works? Somewhere. To me, all three men were real royalty, anointed by the universal God. Please do some research and be open-minded before you decide to belittle me or call me just another conspiracy theorist. Anyway, I am a thought provocateur, man. That is why it hurts so bad for me. I never really listened to his music while he was alive, but I am learning so much about his God work and good works after he is dead. However, he isn't dead. You cannot kill energy, and the momentum is too strong to stop now. This is a time of not only mourning, but also of reflection, resurrection, and recommitment. Let's keep this thing our dear brother contributed to going by utilizing our unique individual and collective talents to create our own authentic contributions to self-determination and justice in our respective communities and beyond. More later, but in the meantime, and I gave, a link to my commentary, my original commentary, Bigger Than Hip Hop, some thoughts about Nipsey Hussle. So he is a religious figure to me because I am so moved by this cat without even really fully embracing his music. But as I started listening to his music, as I done my research, he was about the unification of the black family. He really is helping to bring the ADOS, the American descendants of slaves, connected more to the Pan-Africanists. Like he's combining both tribes and communities. Listen to me. Just like he's doing with the Bloods and Crips, they're coming together in unity and harmony. He's the Black Messiah because his mother is ADOS. His father's from the motherland direct. No, he's a volunteer immigrant. He was not forced to come to the Americas, as my ancestors were generations ago. But he married a black woman who's ADOS, American descendant of slaves. But I want y'all to think about this. Check out his mom's 8-minute video she did to help, ease the loss of this giant of a man. I mean, his mom is just serene and peace and calm and love and knowing and understanding. Beautiful spirit. And she talked about how he's just more powerful now than he could be when he was entrapped in his vessel. This man's a spirit. He's an energy. He's a power source. His mama understood her role. She knew she was the Virgin Mary, giving birth to a giant. That's why they call him Hermes, right? Sent from God. She knew what her role was going to be. She knew that her baby may not have lived a long time, but he would have an impact on this world. See, your words create worlds. Your words create worlds. He was named Sent from God, and he delivered, and then he left. I really do believe, not only on his father's side, but his mother's side got a powerful bloodline as well. I believe they are maybe descendants of the Aboriginal Americans. I believe his family on his mother's side are Native Americans, Native Aboriginal Americans. Because look at her. She got such a universal royalty anointing upon her. A knowing. It's like his grandma. They're calm, cool, collective. Grandma said, let there be peace. Let there be love. Let's get out of the way and let God do his work. My grandma's devoted Catholic. I believe that we can make the case for Nipsey Hussle to become a saint in the church. I'm going to tell a personal story that I encountered. I had a near-death experience this past weekend, but I've been meditating heavily on Nipsey Hussle and his life work and his sacrifice, and I believe it was an intervention from him and the righteous ancestors that spared my life. It was amazing. I'm going to talk about this in this episode, but let me get back on track. I know people think I'm crazy, and Dr. King said, there will be the creatively maladjusted that will save the world, that will save the planet. And I'm proudly a part of Team Creatively Maladjusted. Because how can you adjust to a system that don't love you? This system don't owe me reparation. It owes me restoration. I need my 2/5 back. I need my 2/5. They say we 3/5. I need my 2/5 back, man. Just give it to me. I'll make it work. I'll heal myself. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why it's so important that we have control of our narrative. That's why I'm thankful that I can have a influential platform. It might not be the biggest or the loudest or the most popular platform, but I'm grateful by God that I have a platform that help amplify not only my voice, but the voices of the marginalized, the so-called invisible people. But we are the people of the Bible. Look at the story, the book of Hustle, the book of Nipsey. He was the Black Messiah. I don't care what people think. Because Marcus Garvey said, hey, Haile Selassie is Jesus. He's God. And Marcus Garvey never been to Africa. I'm telling y'all that Nipsey is a Black Messiah. And I ain't really never ever listened to his music like that. See, I'm a diehard Tupac fan, man. I love Tupac, man. And Tupac to me, now, when you look at it, Tupac had to be John the Baptist. Tupac had to be John the Baptist in this context. Because he said it himself, to paraphrase him, he said, I may not change the world, but I will spark the mind that changes the world. Nipsey is a child of Tupac, just like the Black Panther Party was a child or were the children of Malcolm X. The Black Panther Party were the children of Malcolm X. Then even Huey said if Malcolm was still around, instead of starting the Black Panther Party, it would have joined with Malcolm X. Same thing, Nipsey Hussle is the philosophy, the ideology. He's out the Tupac school. Tupac only lived to be 25. 2 plus 5 is what, 7? Right? So people hear what Pac was wild. People still don't understand Pac. Pac is such a biblical figure. Look at this stuff. You know, they could have did a better movie. With all due respect to the Tupac All Eyes on Me, it could have been much better. You look at some of these channels like The Art of the Dialogue. This young millennial dude, man. I don't even know he was born when Pac was in his prime or whatever, but he got these interviews with the people that knew Pac. This should be a Netflix series. They should hire him as a consultant or producer of a Netflix show, of series that takes these stories off of social media about Tupac, the good, the bad, the ugly, and make them to a series so people have a better understanding of Pac, kind of like how they did the remaster series. People got a better appreciation and understanding of a Sam Cooke or a Bob Marley. Because these stories are amazing, because it's amazing that Tupac took so many pictures. And this was no age of social media. You didn't have people had cell phones with cameras on them. You could take pictures and upload them, take video and upload them to Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat. But Tupac is like a Christ figure, like the Last Supper. He's up there in the middle. He's like the eye of the hurricane. He's the calm of the storm. He got all these hood guys, all these hitters, all these gangsters and goons around him. And they all around Pac like, man, Pac knew who he was, man. Just like Nipsey, like Ermias Joseph Ashkodom. He knew who he was. He knew who he was, man, at a young age. And both were targeted. It's spiritual warfare, but also it's government warfare. Tupac was targeted before he was born. He was in his mama's womb. She was defending herself in a court of law set up by Gene Roberts, who was the chief bodyguard of Malcolm X. And also NYPD undercover Bureau of Special Services and Investigation, Bossy. That's COINTELPRO. So the same cat who was bodyguarding Malcolm X and failed at that job ended up framing Afeni Shakur in the infamous Panther 21 trial that she beat by defending herself. Tupac, just like Nipsey, they both dropped out of school. Highly intelligent, intellectual curiosity off the charts, both of these guys. But both of them was about unifying the streets. Tupac was working on that One Nation album. People think that the East Coast, West Coast, was that Tupac dished the whole East Coast. That's not true. He had a lot of East Coast collaborators. That was a beef between him and Biggie. There was, I go back to what the CIA did, how they controlled and manipulate the media, Operation Mockingbird. The media created a East Coast, West Coast beef. Wasn't the rappers. How you think that people in New York and Little Rock know about the Crips? Who spread the information about the Crips? It wasn't no Raymond Washington. Raymond Washington was blown away at the age of 26, I believe, back in 1979. That's the founder of the Crips. Stanley Tookie Williams was in prison since the early 80s. I didn't know about no Crips and stuff until the movie Colors came out. I didn't know about all that until Ice-T. That's media that spread the word about the gangs from L.A. But that's all government stuff. So people keep on thinking this street stuff, this hood nigga stuff, all this stuff is government stuff. Remember, don't forget that the cat that set up Fred Hampton was a street nigga, as y'all call him, a hood guy. He was a car thief, a petty car thief, and an FBI informant. Don't forget that the guy who allegedly killed Nipsey Hussle was a police informant. So they game related, not gang related. It's all a part of the game. What Dick Gregory said, the games. It's all related, y'all. But yeah, I'm on social media. You got people that call themselves scholars, academics. They're not, embracing this possibility. Now, here's my thing. When XXX Tentacion got killed, like I said, I didn't know who he was either. But I knew of Nipsey Hussle while he was around. I really didn't know of the XX guy like that. I think I heard when they tried to ban his music off Spotify along with R. Kelly or something like that right before he died. And I started researching him and I said, well, no, along a lot of people, I said, this is the Tupac of his generation. And people got mad and said, no, he can't be the Tupac of his generation. And I said, for the young people, he is. And I still stand by that to a degree. But really, Nipsey was the evolution of the Tupac of his generation. He was, if Tupac had lived a little bit longer, he probably would have been going the route of Nipsey Hussle. You understand what I'm saying? Because Nipsey outlived Pac about 8 years. So with Temptation, he never had a chance. Because he kind of reminded me almost like a James Dean type of dude who never really had the chance to develop into his potential, but he had talent. But Nipsey was that guy. He was that G. He was the child, the music child and the political child of Tupac. Just like the Panther Party was the political children of Malcolm X. So I get lost in the sauce with this stuff, man. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I hope I'm saying stuff that y'all can utilize and do your own research and come to your own conclusions. But it's like the more educated some of these people are, the more closed-minded they get. So-called educated people. I know them as educated fools. I know them all my life. I got my master's degree. I was at one point working on my doctorate. But what I'm saying is there's different levels of intelligence when it comes to this stuff. A different understanding. You could be an educated fool, and what I mean by educated fool, somebody who is indoctrinated by the system. There's a lot of smart people that can't read and write. Very brilliant, very wise. But the thing about it is, let me go to Lauren London. Now, it was like a lot of controversy. Maybe it was some righteous outrage, but a lot of fake outrage and clout chasing the Kodak Black situation. People said, he said that in a year he would like to get with Lauren London or smash it or hit it. My understanding too, whoever taped that may not have had Kodak's Black permission to tape this. It's kind of like the Donald Trump situation with the George Bush cousin, Billy Bush, that's sitting on a bus and he talking about grabbing, kitty cat, cootie cat, and Billy Bush up there laughing like a little frat boy, little, preteen boy, adolescent. And it was fake outrage on that, and Donald Trump becomes president. Mostly like a lot of white women vote for him. And the black women voted for Hillary, but a lot of white women voted for Donald Trump, even though he said grab him by the kitty cat, right? It's like a lot of locker room talk. It wasn't meant to be heard by the masses. So I think what Kodak Black said, he was saying among his homeboys, it was not meant to be heard by the masses. The way, because you look at the video, how it's set up, it's like he's not even really facing the camera or whatever, what I seen. So it got a lot of outrage. And, he's a young guy. My thing is people are like, he's not Lawrence type. He's ugly. Kodak Black. I know Kodak Black. I think he said some things about dating dark-skinned black women. I ain't gonna let these social media things get me emotionally all screwed up. It's a game. But what I'm saying is, I made a point that didn't Lauren London, used to date Lil Wayne, and she has a kid or a child by Lil Wayne. And folks, oh my God, you're right. I was thinking the same thing. And it's not to knock Lil Wayne, but I'm saying yeah, I don't know what, she got an interesting, unique taste. She's into bad boys. She said herself she like, bad boy persona type dudes and stuff, street guys. That's her thing. I mean, she carries herself well. She's like a classy young lady. I like the way how she projects herself. She carries herself. And I don't care what you do, as far as your sexual life, as long as you're not taking advantage of people who can't defend themselves. That's your business. ain't no need to put labels on things. I mean, she's a human being. She's living life, but she carries herself with class. But to say that Kodak Black don't have a chance, I don't know. It's not for me to say. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had waited and said what he said. Yeah, timing is important, but sometimes it is what it is. He probably was saying what a lot of them cats was thinking when they criticize him. But it's a time and place, whatever. You got to make a choice. You got to deal with the consequences of that. But what I like to say on that is that you look at the Sam Cooke situation. See, it all come at the full circle. I don't really look at the headlines. I research history. Where you had Bobby Womack getting with Sam Cooke's widow. Less than 2 months they married after he dead. Less than 3 months they married after he dead. And Sam Cooke is a different situation. I don't think Kodak Black and Nipsey had some type of mentor prodigy relationship, but Sam Cooke definitely mentored Bobby Womack and his brother Cecil. He was a mentor. He was like if not a father figure, a big brother figure to Bobby Womack. Bobby Womack was signed to Sam's label. So it was a song that Bobby Womack did back in the day. I think it went by the name, I Wish He Wouldn't Trust Me So Much. I wish he wouldn't trust me so much. I believe that's the name of the song. I think he was talking about, you know, how he got with Sam Cooke's wife. And not only that, Bobby Womack got with Sam Cooke's wife in only a matter of months. They got married, which really upsetted Sam Cooke family. His brothers ended up beating up Bobby Womack in a hotel in Chicago. And Bobby Womack actually slept with Sam Cooke's daughter, Linda, when she was about, I believe, 18. They had a consensual affair, from my understanding. When I get her, it was consensual. And I believe that Robert caught him in the act or someone found out and she tried to take a shot at him. She did shoot at him and missed. But also Bobby Womack had a son with Barbara named Vincent. As if you a Sam Cooke fan, you know Sam Cooke had a son named Vincent who lost his life tragically in the family swimming pool. His wife was not paying attention to the child. Child fell into the swimming pool and drowned. So this happened right before Sam Cooke died. He got killed in questionable circumstances. So don't act like this stuff is new. You know, you got to watch the guys in your clique, in your circle sometimes. They're out to take your place. They smile in your face. All they want to do is take your place, the backstabbers. But you can look all this up. I believe Bobby Womack talked about this stuff in his book, his autobiography. His brother Cecil ended up marrying Sam Cooke's daughter, the one he was messing around with when he was married to a mom, and they moved to Africa. And both of the Womack brothers have been dead for at least about, 5 years? 5 or 6 years they've been dead. But I say all that to say you could take all that. And I remember reading about or looking at documentaries about Frank Sinatra's relationship with Lauren Bacall. That's the widow of Humphrey Bogart. Humphrey Bogart was Frank Sinatra's mentor. I think he was the one that gave his group the name the Rat Pack. I think Humphrey Bogart was the original leader of the Rat Pack. And Frank Sinatra was very close to Humphrey Bogart. And so when he died, he actually had plans to marry Humphrey Bogart's widow, Lauren Bacall, film legend Lauren Bacall. But they called it off, or he maybe called it off. I don't know. But that's not unusual. But with Kodak Black, I don't believe he had any type of real relationship with Nipsey Hussle in that way. So if you look at it on that surface level, it was disrespectful. And it wasn't the time for it. But at the same time, I don't think he should lose his life over something like that. Because, Nipsey was not about that. His spirit was about love. He was about love and unification. So that's very important. And it's up to Lauren what she want to do. It's her life. And then I wouldn't rule it out. Life is interest right now. Donald Trump is president, anything can happen. With Donald Trump as president, anything can happen. So getting back to Lauren London, what people don't understand, she's a biblical figure too. Because I believe the Bible as being something that's living, not necessarily a book that you got to flip pages through. But if we are the people of the Bible, if black people are the people of the Bible, we are still here. We mean we are living. We're living out our biblical prophecies. And I'm not a churchgoer. People say, "Brother, are you into religion?" Nah, I don't go to church. I got a praying black mama though, and that helps out a lot. Probably one of the reasons why I'm still around here doing things for the people. Cause my mama, she believes in prayer. She goes to church religiously because that's her religion. She's a Christian. I think I got people praying for me. It's nothing like the prayer of a black woman that's for you, that can help open some doors and protect you. We all got a date, but it's good to have a praying mama around somewhere. So somewhere. But nah, it's not about religion. I believe that we should create our own religion as black people. Like I like what Killer Mike did. He's another thought provocateur and one of Bob's chosen. That's Dick Gregory's group of people that he helped mentor, including me, the famous and not so famous, the rich and not so rich. It really wasn't about the color. It's about were you open to receiving the information? Because Baba Dick was a conduit for the universe, and we all have the potential to be a conduit for the universe. But sometimes it could be overwhelming. I'm just learning now how to channel that energy and focus it to manifest the things I need to manifest. But when Killer Mike, did that in his Netflix docu-series or documentaries or whatever you want to call it, about that book of sleep, starting a religion around his friend who was a man, a few words, but he had a look on his face. Like he looked sleepy, but he was a man of few words, but he was somebody. It's like he wasn't passing judgment on people. So it's called the Book of Sleep. Check out the Killer Mike stuff. Killer Mike's an interesting cat. But I believe there can be a religion built around Nipsey Hussle, around this Ermias Joseph Ashkadom character. Because he was a real Jesus-like figure, for real. And this is not blasphemy to me. This is just, I'm living these truths and I'm seeing it for what it is. I can see things, I'm open to receiving stuff that a lot of us ain't open to receiving. And this is not nothing I just say, oh, man, I don't know, man. I look at it, but Lauren, she's a biblical figure. Her mama's Black American, her daddy's white Jewish American. She had a baby with Lil Wayne. She had a baby with Lil Wayne and Nipsey Hussle, right? Both hip hop legends in their own right. I'm a fan of Lil Wayne's music. He's a genius. He's brilliant, man. Lil Wayne's one of the best to ever do it. And he's still on top of his stuff, man. He has influenced a whole generation of rappers. Lil Wayne, one of the people that gave us the mumble rappers. But he could hang out with the all-time greats, though. He don't have to just mumble rap. Lil Wayne could articulate rap. He could mumble rap. He'd do a lot of things. Lil Wayne, I don't care what nobody say. He's one of the all-time greats. He's up there. He's proven himself. Look at the music. But she had a baby by him first. Lil Wayne is a blood. He's affiliated with the Bloods. And Nipsey Hussle is affiliated with the Crips. She had a son by Lil Wayne named Cameron. She has a son by Nipsey Hussle named Cross. Y'all know how epic that is? Blue and red mixed together creates purple. That's the color of royalty. That's some biblical stuff that's going on in people. It's under people's radar. It's over their heads. They're not even seeing what's going on. Lauren has been used to unite the kingdoms. She has been used as a conduit to unite the tribes, the street tribes. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Lauren has played her role, man. And it's going to be interesting to see how she moves forward, because I don't know, like Kodak Black, he got some guts. He's swinging something to make his claim early. But how many cats want that pressure of following behind something like Nipsey Hussle? Ermias Joseph Ashkadom. She might be that devoted, loving widow like a Coretta or Betty. Or she could be like Mega Evers' widow, where she married somebody who's into that movement and into like trying to empower the community like her husband was, but in his own way. Like Mary Evers ended up marrying a labor union guy who was an organizer. He was no Mega Evers. He lived a while. He married, I believe he passed away, but he was willing to come behind Mega Evers. Mega Evers died at 37. You know what I'm saying? Mega Evers is a hero. He's a G, man. Mega Evers was great, man. He was like a pure heart. He was a warrior for his people. And but with Coretta and Betty, you didn't hear about them having no boyfriend. They might have had some boyfriends, I don't know. But it's like, how you gonna follow behind Malcolm? How you gonna follow behind King? You know what I'm saying? That's like a lot of pressure. I believe Tavis Smiley interviewed Coretta some years ago, and he asked her why, she don't have a boyfriend or something like that. He said, why you have a girlfriend, Tavis? And shut him up quick. Now we know why Tavis don't have a girlfriend. He just like to keep things at a job. But I don't know. I ain't gonna get into all that. That's not why I'm here. But think about what I'm saying. Lauren is almost like a biblical figure in her own right, like a Queen of Sheba type thing. Like King David, Solomon stuff going on here. This is epic stuff. I hope that them boys get the love and protection and guidance they need. They're gonna play a very important role in the healing of the black tribes, because that's big. Both, young black boys, one daddy is a blood, one daddy is a crib. That's unification. And also, you got to consider this as well too. Sex is definitely a political act and a power play. People can use sex like a handshake upon a certain types of agreements and whatnot. This has been old as the world is. You know what I'm saying? It goes back a long time of using sex and the arts of reproduction as a way to strengthen political and economic ties. You look at somebody like Lauren London. I'm not calling her a gold digger by any means, but what I'm saying is that I could look at Lauren London as being like the Queen of Sheba or Queen Makeda or Makeda, whatever you say it, how you say it. Well, also you gotta go back to Cleopatra. You know how Cleopatra, the Queen of Egypt, was able to seduce a Julius Caesar and then later a Mark Antony, and I think she had kids by both men. These were powerful men who represented the Roman Empire. So it was a way to try to unify uh, Egypt's power with Rome's power. It was like a consolidation of sorts that didn't work out in the end. But you got to think about it. It's way bigger than hip hop. What Dead Prez said is bigger than hip hop. It's bigger than hip hop. We are the people of the Bible. You got to start looking at us differently. And when I say we, I mean black people, the classified black people. We are the people of the Bible. Just look at this Nipsey Hustle thing. It's bigger than some street stuff, right? Nipsey named his store What the Marathon. Where do the top marathon runners in the world come from? They come from East Africa. They come from places like Kenya. That's East Africa, right? Nipsey was talking about grinding, not grinding in a circle, but grinding going forward. He knew it was going to be a struggle, but it's a beautiful struggle. He knew it was not a sprint, it was a marathon. You got to pace yourself in order to really sometimes get to those places. Like this is old saying, it's not about the destination, it's the journey. It's not about the destination, it's the journey. So yeah, the marathon is a salute to its East African roots because the top marathon runners come from East Africa. You gotta remember when that Boston Marathon bombing, right? When did the bomb go off? It went off towards the end of the marathon because, like Baba Dick points out, the top marathon runners are the Kenyans and people from East Africa. They were already finished. Because imagine if the bomb went off during while those Kenyans were running. The marathon business will be out of business in a few years because the top marathon runners come from East Africa. So think about that. This is why I'm glad I'm able to share this information. Like, you're not gonna get a lot of this stuff. And I'm not bragging, but I got a different way of viewing the world. I got a special, unique way because it's about me sharing me with y'all. Like I said, think about what I just said, and if you could utilize it, utilize it. But look at the Lauren London thing differently. Our minds have been so programmed to think so little of ourselves. But yeah, the Most High is definitely, or the universal God is definitely using Lauren London for a greater purpose. And I believe she realized that now. And the Black Messiah thing, the COINTELPRO said we got to stop the rise of the Black Messiah that could electrify and unify the masses. Think about the Black Messiahs that came before Nipsey. And Nipsey, and people, this is the thing. Nipsey is with the ancestors. He with the righteous ancestors. He is up there with Malcolm and Martin and Fred Hampton, because he gave his life for what he believed. Dr. King said, if a man ain't willing to die for anything, he ain't fit to live. It's what you willing to put your life on the line for. That's what makes you great. If you're willing to die for what you want, you are great by design. This isn't even about his music. This is not about, is he a great rapper? Because he was bigger than hip hop. He was trying to resurrect our black pride. It's like what Marcus Garvey said decades, 100 years plus ago. Up, you mighty race, and accomplish what you will. Up, you mighty race, and accomplish what you will. Nipsey was a Leo. He was born August 15th. He is the Lion of Crenshaw. Nipsey is the Lion of Crenshaw. Lion of Judea, Lion of Crenshaw. See how it works? Man was royalty. Not because white folks say he royalty, but because God said he was royalty. He moved like a royal. Respected, Prince of the city. Prince of Crenshaw. If I could see this, why can't other people see this stuff? Ain't that hard? I'm not, like I said, I'm not a religious guy, but I just seen something special, unique about this brother. And you can't deny it. And Lauren, it's gonna be interesting how she used this platform she got, Man, it's gonna be interesting. See how this goes. And I just, amplify blessings to the family, to the young children, to Cameron and Cross. May they be uplifted, protected, loved, given the right path, the foundation to take what, Nipsey and the others have done to the next level. But he is a part of the Black Messiahs. Look at Marcus Garvey. They neutralized Marcus Garvey. They got rid of Malcolm, Martin. They even ran Kwame Ture out the country. Khalid Muhammad, he was a Black Messiah. He was part of helping that gain truce after the Rodney King riots, right? Khalid Muhammad, or Khalid Muhammad, as y'all call him. He did the Million Youth March that was sabotaged by Rudy Giuliani and the New York power structure. He died in unquestionable circumstances. His son is the millionaire Pharaoh Gray. But anyway, and also, did Jesus have a brother named Simon? No, don't. Nipsey Hussle, Ermias Joseph Ashkodom. Don't he have a brother named Sammy or Black Sam? See how it works? Somewhere, baby, somewhere. Yeah, I just want to put that out there, and we're gonna see people gonna start. Watch this. As soon as I put that out there, people gonna start looking at Lauren London a different way. I said, well, they're gonna make a meme somehow. Lauren London was used to unite the Crips and Bloods. She got a son by Lil Wayne that's a Blood. Nipsey was a Crip, and she was there to unify the street tribes. Fred Hampton called this the gangs of Chicago. We call them tribes. He was forming a rainbow coalition. Students for the Democratic Society, Young Lords, right? The Black Peace Stone Nation. Think about it. Same thing. What about Clarence 13X, Allah, Father Allah, right? Founder of the 5% Nation. He came out of Temple 7 up in New York under Malcolm X. He started the 5%ers. He was assassinated in the projects. I say assassinated. It could have been over some type of card game or some type of dice game. But here's a guy who's from Danville, Virginia, right? Clarence 13X. This dude was getting all types of money from the New York City to take kids on airplane flights to vacations outside the city. Mayor Lindsay, the mayor of New York City, his administration was giving this man money and access to take these kids on airplanes, to take them to plays, to take them out of the city to camps and stuff. He was getting this type of pull with the city of New York, and he's assassinated. Was that in 1967? See, I'm gonna say all this stuff. I want y'all to look this stuff up. So don't say, well, Brother Ron said this and that, because I help people on my show. They mean well, but sometimes they give out misinformation. Sometimes I can misspoke because I'm a human being. Sometimes I might get a date wrong. Like I said, well, Ron, he was an Ethiopian, he was Eritrean, but they both next to each other. His daddy's name is what? Dawit. That's David in Ethiopian. Dawit, his daddy. So he's Eritrean, but he got an Ethiopian name. And they right by each other. It's Eastern Africa, in the Horn of Africa, right? They call it the Horn of Africa, Eastern Africa. So I'm not, semantics, tomato, tomato, but I understand. But I want y'all to get in that habit, though, that when you say, well, Brother Ron said this, let me look this up. Take a look. It's all online. And then, yeah, please post in the comment section what I got wrong or what I got right or what you learned or whatever. But I'm learning from you all, so I appreciate that. Hold me accountable. We hold each other accountable. That's what Nipsey was about, holding each other accountable, about building self-determination, about holding each other accountable for our destinies. You understand? So have I said all the things I want to say about this? But yeah, why people start looking at Lauren London? Oh, she was sent by God to unify the street gangs. She got a son whose daddy was a blood, and she got a son whose daddy was a crip. I said Clarence 13X, look him up, the founder of the 5% Nation, 5%ers. What they call it, they say 85% of people are dumb, deaf, and blind. 10% of people know the truth, but they're not trying to teach the people the truth. Kind of like the gatekeepers or whatever. You got the 5%, the so-called poor righteous teachers. There's a hip-hop group called the Poor Righteous Teachers from back in the day. So you got to consider this Eric Holder character a Judas. He is the Judas of the Bible that betrayed Jesus. He took out Jesus. It's Judas, right? They were both members of the Rolling 60s, right? He known brother Nipsey for a long, long time. They grew up together, it sounds like, and they part of the same organizational group, fraternity, as you will. And so it's always an inside job. But Judas did not act alone. He represented the interests of the elites, the institutional interests. The elites paid him in, how many pieces of gold and silver did he get to take out Jesus Christ? This Eric Holder guy was the property of the government. He was an informant. Regardless if he acted in the spur of the moment, it was because of his reputation as a known informant that caused Nipsey to be hesitant in dealing with this guy. So he was already marked with the mark of the beast, as you will. He already had his so-called scarlet letter as being known as a snitch. So basically, he was blackballed. He was blackballed. So he got angry. He could have got angry at that moment because of self-hate. But like Brother Malcolm said, who taught you to hate yourself? So it's all programming. Y'all keep on trying to get these powers that be out the hook because you want that paycheck or whatever you want. Those nice stale butter biscuits. They're not even nice. They're just stale butter biscuits, as y'all call them. I love this terminology we keep coming up with. But you got to think about it bigger than that, man. People say, well, there's some street stuff. Who gave us the street gangs? What happened to our leadership? Who killed Bunchy Carter? Who killed Fred Hampton? Who put Jeff Ford and Larry Hoover in jail? You got to think about what I'm saying here. Where did these gangs come from? Who told us about the Crips and Bloods? Those were so-called LA gangs. Now they're worldwide. They got worldwide chapters. How did that spread? Think about what I'm saying. So now it's not just a Crenshaw thing. It's not just a Watts thing. It's not just a gang thing, a Compton thing, or LA thing. It's bigger than LA. It's bigger than what people realize. It's a programming thing. It's predictive programming. It's manipulation. It's MK Ultra. Because a lot of us have been conditioned and programmed to think a certain way, or to feel a certain way. It's like, for example, if you look at music, like on the radio, they'll play a song. First time you hear it, you might not like it. Second, third, fourth time you hear it, you might think it's okay. Then by the 10th time they play it, it's one of your favorite songs. That's programming. They playing with us, man. Think about it. Go back to Operation Mockingbird. I said CIA has been involved in telling the narrative. They started cultural organizations to promote the United States in a certain way. Think about what they did to Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson's birthday was April 9th, or was April 9th, right? Paul Robeson, we don't even know who he is now. This guy was a giant, a true humanitarian, one of the most gifted people to walk the planet, to speak numerous languages. Was one of the best football players of all time in the early days of football, right? Was a lawyer, was a phenomenal human being. And he was targeted by the government. Great singer. And he was targeted by the government because he spoke out against what the United States was doing to black people. Before Malcolm X even was Malcolm, when Malcolm X was the Detroit Red, or when he was in prison up in Massachusetts, it was people like Paul Robeson who wanted to bring charges against the United States on violating the human rights of black people. He, along with others, coined the term menticide, what they were doing to black people in America. So this is Paul Robeson, but because we don't do research, we don't understand it. It's so many people that came for Nipsey Hussle that were taken out before their time. I could think about a guy I wrote a book about named James Reese Europe. He was a famous black musician back in the early days of the 20th century. Was not only just a black musician that was famous, also he was involved in the community. He organized one of the first black musician unions in the country called the Clef Club back in 1905 to stop black musicians from being taken advantage of. You had some cases where black musicians were be booked for a gig, and not only they had to play the music, but they also maybe had to cook the food or wash dishes and stuff, and still get paid less than their white counterparts. And James Fisher put an end to that. He was the mentors to people like Noble Sissle and U.B. Blake. These are the people that end up bringing black folks back to Broadway. They the ones that discovered the Paul Robesons and the Duke Ellingtons and the Ethel Waters and people like that and Josephine Bakers. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. And this guy was killed doing a concert up in Boston after coming home from World War One. James Europe organized the world famous Harlem Hellfighters Jazz Band that brought jazz to Europe. They introduced jazz to Europe. His last name is Europe. Can't make this up. Black history is better than science fiction or Hollywood movie. So he brought, jazz to Europe after liberating them. He was the first black man to lead troops in the battle during World War One. His unit, the Harlem Hellfighters, as they was nicknamed by the French and Germans, was under fire longer than any other American group. For 191 straight days, they took enemy fire, bombings and everything, out in no man's land. That was him. And their the 369th Regiment was disowned by the American government, and they were adopted by the French. That's who he was a part of. So James Fitzgerald came back to America, a hero's welcome, performing at Mechanics Hall up in Boston, May 9th, 1919. He was assassinated. I would say killed, or I would call it assassination because it was bigger than just a killing of another black person by his drummer named Herbert Wright. Herbert Wright killed this man while they were performing a concert. He got stabbed in the neck with a penknife and he bled to death. So he was just 39 years old. He was the first black person given a public funeral in New York City's history, and he's buried with military honors in Arlington Cemetery. But he's been forgotten about. But Noble Sissle and U.B. Blake, I think it was Noble U.B. Blake, he said that James Fitzgerald was the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Booker T. Washington of the black musicians. He helped unify black musicians. He believed in having black music that was nurtured and interpreted by the best black musicians. He wanted to form a national Negro orchestra where they played original works by black composers. He started a music school for poor black kids up in Harlem. He had assistance from the New York Philharmonic to do that. David Manns from the New York Philharmonic helped him. He was the hero. He was the music hero of George Gershwin. Yes, the white Jewish musician and composer. Used to listen to James Fisher outside this nightclub called Baron Wilkes. I think Wilkerson, Baron Wilkes nightclub. But I wrote a book about this called James Fisher Jazz Lieutenant. It's on the Smithsonian Institute list for jazz books for kids and young adults. That was my first book. I self-published and I wrote it and I illustrated it. Came out on his birthday, February 22nd, 2005. Now it's time for me to write more books, and I'll keep you updated on that. Y'all can support that, but this book is available on Amazon, and also you can buy a copy from me for $20, which includes an autograph and an original drawing. Get my Nipsey hustle on, y'all. But I'm worth the money, ain't I? So I know a lot of black messiahs. I know a lot of Nipsey hustles that became before Nipsey that put in their work. They were killed. James Fitzgerald, like I said, he was killed at 39. This is the same age that Dr. King and Malcolm X was killed. 39. Nipsey was killed at 33. That's the age that Jesus was killed. That's a Christ age, right? So we got to start digging deeper. I like, all this stuff that we got all this information available. But like I said, there's misinformation and disinformation out there. And basically social media give everybody a chance to voice their opinions. This is like amazing. You think about it. It's beyond the gatekeeping. Even though they try to censor us on these social media platforms, there's nothing really stopping us from creating our own stuff but us. And Nipsey is telling us, he gave us the blueprint on how to get your hustle, self-determination on. You understand? So, yeah, I can dig it. And the marathon continues. And also, Eric Holder is definitely the Judas and he represents the interests of the powers that be. Because you got to think about it. Just like Jesus chased the money changers out the temple, Nipsey Hussle was chasing the gentrifiers out the neighborhood. Think about it. I'm going to say that once again. Just like Jesus chased the money changers out the temple, Nipsey Hussle was chasing the gentrifiers out the neighborhood. Yes, right. Jesus came back as Nipsey Hussle. That's why it's really not about the music with this guy. He was putting the message in the music, but I'm looking at this brother's actions. His actions speaks a lot about his character. And that's why it hurts so bad we lose somebody like that, because he was on that level of a Fred Hampton, of Dr. King, and a Malcolm. In my humble opinion, y'all forget that Malcolm was once Detroit Red. Y'all keep on talking with Nipsey, he was gang banging, cripping. Malcolm was once Detroit Red. He was a hustler, was a gangster, drug dealer, all that stuff. So we got to start looking at ourselves in a different light. We are, you got to look at Ishu, the trickster. That's part of our culture. We are shapeshifters. Dick talk about shapeshifting. Y'all don't understand the power of shapeshifting. I shapeshift all the time. I don't look the same in all my pictures. Sometimes I'm fat, sometimes I'm skinny, sometimes I'm fatter, sometimes I'm this and that. I look different in my pictures, like Charlie Parker. What I love about Charlie Parker, not only that he was a music genius, but he didn't always look the same in all his pictures. He looked different in all his pictures. He was shapeshifting. See, black folks, we do that all the time. We call it wearing the mask, or that the boys talk about the double consciousness. Black folks, we are, some would consider us having, in this system, multiple personality disorder. But the thing about it is, you're dealing with a wicked system that don't allow us to be full human beings. Y'all talking about reparations, I'm talking about restoration. Give my 2/5 back, man. So who is Punch's palette then? That's a good question. Is the LAPD Punch's palette? Because wasn't Eric Holder a snitch for the LAPD, or is a snitch or whatever, or informant for the LAPD? Who plays the role of Punch's palette? That we need to be asking ourselves. Is Lauren London Mary Magdalene? Like I talked about her being used as a conduit to unite the tribes, to unite the nations. So, yeah, y'all can hate me now, but I'm entitled to my opinions, and I stand by what I say. And like I said, I'm a thought provocateur. And my thing is to get you to think for yourself and to come to your own conclusions, do the research. But just look all this stuff up. Just take my word to be the end all be all. And finally, I want to make a case. Yes, he should have a church. It should be a religion around Nipsey Hussle. This Ermias Joseph Ashkadom character, brother, myth, legend. He actually existed. We got witnesses. And I believe that people should start letting people know about the miracles they believe they can attribute to Nipsey Hussle, to Ermias Joseph Ashkadom. I'm going to tell you about something that happened to me this past weekend. And it's interesting. And then I'll close out like that. I do food delivery on the side, right? Not on the side, I do it a lot. Because like I said, man, it's hard to be a truth teller in a system built on lies. You're not very popular with certain types of people and institutions when you tell the truth. And I'm just like, I'm almost 40 now, and this is who I am. You know what I'm saying? It's like with Tupac, they don't break you by 30. Like you see, you don't hear a lot of loudmouth black dudes after the age of 30 because they've been broken by the system. But since I'm still loudmouth, they did their best. I got some bruises. I got some, I took some hits, man. I got some chinks in the armor, but I'm still here. I still been very consistent with putting stuff out. So I guess it's the path I'm going to lead, man. I'm going to see how it play out. Because even in poker, you can win with a losing hand. You can actually win with a losing hand because this system is all about illusions and perceptions. It's not about the truth. So that's the truth of the matter. Because Donald Trump, probably just 100 millionaire. He's not a billionaire, but people assume they think he's a billionaire because that the Wizard of Oz mentality we got right now. What I love about Trump is by him being in office, he's being used as a conduit, make things transparent. Now, people can't say they don't know what's going on because things are too damn transparent now because Trump is being used by the Most High, by the universal God, to unveil truths that's been hidden, like hidden colors. See how it works. But I was delivering food for one of these food delivery companies on Sunday, right? I've been really thinking about Nipsey ever since I heard he got killed or assassinated. I'm going to say the word assassinated because he was assassinated. I've been focused on him heavily, just researching him, been on my mind, been on my spirit. I found, it's a sadness, but also it's a peace when I think about Nipsey. So I was delivering food, my first delivery, right, on my route. Went to this neighborhood. It was a woman. She opened the door. She had a white dog. It was a big white dog, a mutt. She called it was a mutt. She don't know what breed it is. It's a mutt. It's an Obama. I'm joking. But anyway, I was handing her food. Then a dog just went past her and knocked me down and started biting on my left shoe, biting on my left foot. I had some New Balance. I'm a New Balance guy. So I had my New Balance shoes on. He started biting me on my left foot. And she fell on the ground trying to get him off. And I'm hitting him with my right foot. I'm kicking him in the head with my right foot. And he refused to let go of my foot. And so, most people probably be like, that, this dog gonna maul me to death. And life flashed before your eyes. This dog is gonna kill me. And my concern was with the dog. I said, don't bite my reproducer off. Don't bite my dingling off. Don't bite my balls off. That was my biggest concern. Do not bite my balls. You bite my foot, I might be okay with losing some toes, but don't bite my balls off and my dick. To be honest with the truth be told. But okay, we on the ground. It seemed like for eternity. But I wasn't like afraid. I was not in fear. Somehow I knew I was gonna survive this encounter. So she finally was able to get the dog out because to me, I'm delivering this food. I'm more concerned about her ice cream being melted that I'm delivering, along with her sushi, whatever she got. And so she found it because I kept on trying to get up off the ground. The ground was very muddy from being rained on. It was raining a lot that day. So I kept on slipping down. The dog kept on dragging on my left foot. So finally she was able to get the dog off of me. I got up. She put the dog in the house. She was just so sorry. She said, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." She just apologizing profusely. Just so sorry. And so I called my dispatch. It's always crazy with me. Anytime I'm in trouble, I can't get nobody on the phone. When I'm in trouble and need somebody help, people call me all day long for stuff. But when it's time for me to get help from somebody, I'm always alone trying to get help, trying to call somebody and answer their phone. So I finally got my dispatcher on the phone, let them know. And I texted the dispatcher, let them know I was attacked by a customer's dog. So they asked me, everything okay, all right? I'm still kind of in shock because I don't know, man, it's kind of surreal, but I'm not panicking. I'm not crying. I'm not feeling no pain. So the lady, she went in the house and got me $100. She gave me $100, but I was kind of hesitant to take the $100 because I ain't want this to be like no quick, keep quiet money. I needed the $100. I needed gas money. I ain't gonna lie to you. I need some new shoes. I was thinking about going to shoe carnival because I love New Balance. Because New Balance, if there was probably some Nikes or Reeboks, my foot probably been gone. I'm just joking. I'm just joking, y'all. But I'm a New Balance guy. So I think maybe I could just use this $100 to get that buy one get one free, or half off deal at shoe carnival or something. Cause I needed some new shoes. I ain't new shoes in a minute, but I called my dispatch and I was in the presence of the lady and I asked her, do I need to get any information from the lady? Because the lady offered me something to drink. Do I need some Band-Aids or alcohol? I said, man, I don't think I want to go in her house. Her dog just attacked me. And she said that was the first time the dog ever attacked anybody like that. So they said they sent me a Google form to fill out the incident report. So I just had this 100 in my hand. I'm just holding should I take this? I don't want to think like she's trying to keep me quiet as a bride. But you know what? I had no ill feelings towards the owner or the dog. I had no ill feelings towards the owner or the dog, man. I was saying, I ain't gonna call the police because I would hate to see that dog put down. Because what happened was I got home finally. I still was in shock. I got mud all over me. I told the dispatch, they were trying to, they were calling my phone for another order. I said, I'm not picking up no more orders today, man. I'm off work now. So yeah, we're gonna get you off work. Don't worry about it. So I went home. After I got me something to eat, I went home. I didn't feel no pain, y'all. I didn't feel nothing. This dog ripped my shoe. Man, it was ripping it was tearing the hell out of my shoe. Like it was a chew toy. Look at my foot. Shoe looked bad, took my foot. Had my socks on. To my socks on, I ain't see no scratches, no bites, nothing. The dog didn't even penetrate my foot. It did not, even though it turned the hell out of my shoe, it did not penetrate my actual foot. My socks was intact. My toes, my foot was intact. I got a big ass foot. Now I wear a size 14. I got big ass feet, though. But the dog, man, could have easily had them like a $5 foot long day with my foot. So I didn't get no damage to my foot, man, because I ain't had no medical insurance, nothing like that. So I was sore. Like I told the lady, I mean, I'm been sore from falling down like that and trying to get up, and the dog kept on dragging me down. But other than that, I'll be all right. Maybe I take some aspirins or something like that. I didn't take nothing like that. But I was amazed. Dog did not damage my foot at all, just damaged my shoe. Like I said, I've been meditating on Nipsey for the whole week, whatever. And so I'm gonna give him the credit for that. As far as the righteous ancestors, I got this is a big week for me when we're honoring Charlie Parker and Brother Terry Atkins, this black artist, performance artist, and also we're honoring the victims of Nathan Bedford Forrest of the Fort Pillow Massacre. This week, we're doing a wreath-laying ceremony at the Memphis National Cemetery on Friday on the 155th anniversary of the Fort Pillow Massacre, one of the biggest massacres in American history, where you actually had 300 black Union soldiers, women, and children slaughtered by Nathan Bedford Forrest's army, Confederate Army, at Fort Pillow, Tennessee, April 12, 1864. Even President Lincoln said it was a massacre. So we are giving honor to them with the military, the Memphis Police Department, riderless horse, 21 gun salute, taps will be played, limousine or procession, repast thereafter. My organization, We All Be Group Incorporated, raised $3,000 from the community to put a historic marker in front of the Memphis National Cemetery to give honor to the ancestors. So I believe that the righteous ancestors, along with our dear brother, the newly minted ancestor, Brother Nipsey Hussle, Ermias Joseph Ashkadom, protected me and my left foot, from any damage. My foot was probably saved because Brother Nipsey, Ermias Joseph Ashkadom, knew I needed my foot to run this marathon, because it's definitely like black excellence is a marathon. It's a relay sport. So he passed the torch, and we got next. It's time for us to take it to the next level. See how it works? Somewhere, like Dick would say, somewhere. So that's all I want to say for that. Y'all gonna take this and y'all gonna make fun of me and run crazy and all. Well, you know what? Like I said, I'm probably the creatively maladjusted that's here to save humanity. Nipsey was a part of the creatively maladjusted army as well, because Dr. King said it's going to take the creatively maladjusted to save humanity. Because too many people just get along at their expense, and you're damning your generation's not yet born when you don't do the God work you was meant to do. Like Dick Gregory said, the biggest thing we do is we are sent here to change the world, not become a part of it. We are sent here to change it. Ermias Joseph Ashkadom, he was sent from God to change this planet, and he did. Tupac was sent to change the planet. They doing it, man. It's our time. Let's rise up. So thank you, family, for listening to me and my rants and raves and my insights. If you like the words from Brother Heard, please spread the word. Subscribe to We All Be TV. Tell your friends and family about us. Support the We All Be information movement, because knowledge is the currency of the universe. Got Google Pay and PayPal. Email address r2c2h2@gmail.com. Once again, you want to donate to the cause through Google Pay or PayPal. Make a one-time or recurring donation. Email address r2c2h2@gmail.com. Also become a Patreon for the We All Be movement at patreon.com/We All Be. That's patreon.com/We All Be. You can buy artivist gear and art. It's www.r2c2h2.com. Once again, that's r2c2h2.com. You can buy artivist art to wear at our Teespring store. Look at the shelf below the video. You see, samples or examples of our shirts that we offer. The best is yet to come. So, yeah, family, I want to thank you all once again for supporting us, for growing us. I do this for the love of our people. This is not the greatest paying gig in the world, but I love my people, and I love to help my people. I always do my heart good when I get emails, when I meet people in person. They'll tell me, "Well, Brother Ron, we thank you for the work you're doing. We actually using some of your videos and other stuff as part of our curriculums in our schools, in our school districts. We're using it in our home schools, stuff like that, man. It's amazing, and I'm just humbled by the whole situation. So thank you all for letting me serve you all. In the words of the great Duke Ellington, we love you madly. Keep on producing and pushing. Peace.